watching the game. The UP Fighting Maroons and the Adamson Soaring Falcons just had another explosive clash for round 2 of the UAAP men's basketball tournament. Now to share with us their stories on and off the court, we have with us UAAP Season 85 correspondents Carla Elizaga and Jana Ejido. Ladies, welcome back to the game, and galing pa kayo from the game earlier in Mall of Asia Arena, tama?
Yes.
Thank
you for having us.
Right.
Thank you for having us.
Right. You had that matchup a while ago, and UP won both matchups in rounds 1 and 2.
Kaya naka-maroon eh.
Okay, naka-maroon ako actually. So, unahin ko si Carla, what was the team's mindset, or even before the game, and then how was the mood like after winning against Adamson for 2 times already?
Well, I feel like the past 2 games have been a bit of a breakthrough, actually ever since their UST win, because one of their biggest thing, and I think it's evident in the games, they've been struggling with consistency. Like just playing to the level of their opponents, but they know they can do so much better. It's like their greatest enemy is themselves, I think. So I feel like now they're really starting to get into the groove of things, noticing those small errors.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were able to, execute that very well during the game today.
Jana, as a person familiar with losing to UP, yeah, I know, right? But then when we talk about what Adamson did, syempre sa first round, forced overtime, not as close this time around. Syempre, injuries are also an issue for Adamson. But then when you look at the mood of the team, when you look at how they responded, of course, the task ahead of them, what do you see?
I mean, it's no secret that Adamson loves playing against UP. They always prepare for it. I think today was just not it for them. And not to mention what happened today, we lost 2 injuries, Vince Magbuhos and Jerome Lastimosa. But back at the dugout today after the game, Coach Nash said, if there's any game you have to learn from going to the second round, it's this one. So still, we defeated LaSalle. In round 1, it was off a high, and I think, like what Coach Nash said, this is a learning point for them, and it's gonna carry on to the next.
Well, we also just lost to FEU, but okay. Jana, you mentioned Jerome Lastimosa. Of course, injury is going to be a concern. Unang-una, an update on that, and of course, I heard that there were special guests for him at the venue.
Exactly. An update on the injury. He's getting X-rayed as of the moment. We don't have a diagnosis yet, but he tells me it could be serious, and worst case scenario is he's going to miss Saturday, which is against UST. But it's the break after that. I think he's gonna take some time off. We're also not sure with Vince as well. And in terms of special guests, he did have the Lastimosa family all the way from Dumaguete. He told me they flew in last night, and it's very memorable for him. He had his mom, his dad, his sister, his brother, and his nephew watching him today. Just really unfortunate about the injury, so wish him all the best in his recovery.
Right, we're hoping that he recovers right away, so that he can join the Adamson squad in their campaign, hopefully, to enter the Final Four. Okay, balik tayo sa UPK, Carla. You mentioned that kalaban nila yung sarili nila. How is the captain leading the ship right now for the UP Fighting Maroons?
Well, I mean, I have to say that intangible contributions is something that really goes a long way with this team. Like just having that morale, that energy throughout all the games that they play. And, Brix Ramos, it's only his 2nd season with this team. But I have to say, as a team captain, he's really that guy that keeps up their energy level, at the bench. And you know how during UP games, it can get very emotionally taxing.
Yeah.
And then and sometimes you see the players just defeated on the bench. Sometimes, especially back in round 1. But he's always that guy. He goes to every player individually, just hyping them up, and no matter what, always hands in, huddle, and I remember seeing that in round 1 and thinking yep, that's what a captain is. That's what a captain should do.
I right now, we don't have a lot of time for a lot more questions. There's so many more stories we can go through, but we don't have time for one more. And since alam ko that Jana is stressed, I'm a bit stressed also. One of my favorite go-tos to relieve that stress is coffee. And balita ko that Adamson is a coffee team.
Definitely. They always have their coffee runs before, after the game, and even during practice. Literally in the middle of practice, they would have a coffee run.
Okay.
And especially Joem Sabandal and Jed Colonia. I asked them what they did over the pandemic. Some of the guys said they were watching anime. Some of the guys binged some series. But they learned how to be their own baristas. It started with Jed Colonia, his love for coffee beans, and experimenting with them. Then Joem got curious and started doing it on his own. So, aside from being basketball players, the Adamson guys are talented coffee makers as well.
I wonder if they'll ever spell your name correctly. If they ask for
Interesting,
it.
no? We have to
diba?
ask them one of these days. Okay, we have one more time dahil panalo yung UP pa. Pagbigyan mo na
Okay,
more
fine.
exposure.
Alright, sige.
Diba?
Just because.
Carla, Cyril Gonzalez was the player of the game nung huli na lang laro. Before today, diba? And you interviewed him. What can you tell us more about that game where he exploded in the fourth quarter?
I mean, the thing about UP, like, I think through every game or like every experience that we have with them, we're always just gonna find out just how deep their bench runs. And for Sai, like, that was just his time to, like, it's your time to shine. Like, I asked him, what was different during that game? Like, did you do anything? But for all these players, and I got the same response from Terrence, from Jerry, even from Malik. They all say the same thing, and it's like, I always just do my best, but you know, it's just when that opportunity comes because they're that type of team. They always just try to find that open man or that like open person during that time. And I feel like that's something they really got from their NU Bullpups days.
Yeah.
Of course, like with Coach Gold. So like that chemistry definitely is something that helps them.
Carried over for sure. Girls, maraming salamat. We really appreciate the work that you do, giving us all these stories. And we're not done talking to you yet because I have a feeling we're gonna have a lot more conversation with these two in particular.
For sure, no? Pagdating sa latter part of the season. And speaking of watching the games, catch the UAAP Season 85 Men's Basketball Tournament every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday on One Sports and the Varsity Channel. Also available on Signal Channel 263 HD and on Signal Play Premium.